into that doc.
Hi.
Wait, here we go. We got some music.
Fam's not ready. My fam's not hot.
Ah, the music cut out on us. Well, anyways, welcome back to the CONVO couch.
You definitely put on the karaoke version.
Yeah, because I don't want it taken down.
Oh, okay.
You know what the name of the song is, though? It's like, you don't like to think
Roses?
your shit don't stink. And it's just dedicated to the Democrats out there who act like their shit don't stink. The leadership Democrats, not some of the new Democrats. We did have a lot of new Democrats. Welcome back to the CONVO couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pastor Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. How's everyone, whoever is watching, because it's really late?
Let's see if we can get us locked in and loaded over here.
I know James is usually awake, but he's in Europe, so...
James Aaliyah is probably watching from... Aaliyah, depending on whatever you want to call him, whatnot. But we have a great show for you today. We want to thank you for kind of tuning in, for those of you who have tuned in. This is our first show since the midterm results a week ago, and 8 days ago, and some of the elections are still going on, fam.
They are. Some of the ballots are still being counted. Stacey Abrams is challenging in Georgia. Maria Estrada is not giving up until every single last vote is counted. And
sorry about that.
Can you not do that?
Yes. Is Maria Estrada still fighting?
I honestly, last time I checked, there were still votes to be counted. But that's the point, right? That all the votes are counted, because it's not. I feel like a lot of the regular media always decides, like, okay, so and so is a winner, blah blah blah, and it's just something we shouldn't be doing. Yeah, but I remember when Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have a shit show on our hands now, and we should really kind of talk about this. We have a lot of things to get going before we talk about Bernie Sanders, because I know that was like a lot of people who couldn't wait for this date to come because they thought the midterms are over. The next thing that's going to be announced is Bernard Sanders will be running. So hopefully he will. But the voter suppression that is going on, especially in the case of Stacey Abrams in Georgia, it is disgusting. But once again, I don't understand the hypocrisy between the leadership of the Democrats and now the Republicans, because Greg Palast, who's always reported on this stuff about the Republicans, the way they suppress voters, especially in the South, mainly people of color who normally vote. Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
And it's a serious situation. But once again, like I said, here we have the situation in Florida where Andrew Gillum is asking for a recount or whatnot, the DeSantis, whatnot. But if you don't think for 1 second that Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Brenda Snipes gave the little wink to Trump and his boys and say, hey, listen, we'll make sure your guy wins. If our guy wins, then you're crazy. Because they've been found, Brenda Snipes, not only was she not charged criminally for federally, illegally destroying ballots before their time is allowed to be destroyed, she did not only face charges, she didn't even get fired, fam.
Yeah.
And she's running
neither
elections.
did Debbie Wasserman Schultz, even from before. So, anyway, let's start off with something that really...
irked you.
Really irked me.
Pissed me off.
Coming from progressives, too. And I'm really sick and tired of this situation that we're dealing with, by the way. So, the Daily Beast released a hit piece, as many of you know, and it was a hit piece, where they interviewed Bernie Sanders, and they took a phrase of what he said entirely out of context. And what that means is, without understanding everything that was said before and thereafter, it has a completely different meaning. And any one of us could be victim of that. Anybody could take what I'm saying right now and make it sound really, really bad. Same with him, same with a lot of people. And this is kind of like that culture of like screenshots of taking things without the full story. And it's not journalism, and it's not responsible. It's a very low kind of behavior. And so we can see that the headline reads, Bernie Sanders on Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams. Many whites made uncomfortable voting for black candidates. Okay, he did say that. However, that's not all he said. Okay, in the grand context of things, what he was saying was that because Florida and Georgia, there is such a racist state, they're racist states, and there's people that are outright racist. It's difficult climate. Many people who are not necessarily racist feel uncomfortable voting for a person of color because they're afraid of being targeted and outcasted, and he's not telling you that, you know, that's okay or and that it should be like that. He's simply saying, like, this is how these people are thinking. And I get that he could have maybe not said that, understanding how many people have always targeted him when it comes to people of color. But really, I just feel like I am sick and tired of the identity politics on the left, and I think it is literally destroying us. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. I am done with it. And as a person of color, I feel tired of a lot of these virtue signaling white people trying to say that, you know, this is racist and we need to be better than that. Like, no, he wasn't racist at all. It was taken out of context. And Chelsea Clinton is on the board of that paper, or that publication, I should say.
You know what? I if you see my face over here, I'm just locked with wide eyes in the screen. You know, I wish we had one of those memes ready. Remember that meme goes, oh, and it's the dude going like this. When you just said that, homegirl, you know what I'm saying? And listen, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I've wanted to say for a long time, and thank you for saying it. And it really is, it's also the culture of identity politics within the Democratic Party. Just today online, there's this gentleman named Tracy King, who is an establishment kind of worshiper. I don't use the word to hack. I want to say he's an establishment friendly type of person.
Yeah.
And he is a vote blue no matter who. And you know, we got into a discussion today, and the attacks, everything has to do with gender, religion, or race, whatnot. And that's one thing I love about Bernie. I think that he was right on with this, fam, when he said, because he said in the beginning of the interview, was like, why don't we call these people what they are? They're racist.
Yeah.
And then he plain out said that they had to take some of the biggest racist attacks, and the type of games that DeSantis was playing, he was signaling to his base the whole time. We can't monkey this up. Remember that comment? You know, I mean, but Bernie never plays the identity politics, and that's what I love about him. And let me tell you something. They came right out of the gate with the identity politics, and they played it too with AOC as well down the road.
Yeah, they do this all the time, and what irks me the most is it's progressives having a field day with this. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. I think, you know, no, dude, like, he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. I think that, yes, unfortunately, because of the BS identity politics that is there and the optics of everything, unfortunately, he does have to be aware of that. But that's optics. What's reality is that Bernie Sanders is actually telling you that these people, DeSantis and these people, they're all racist. He's literally outright saying you got to call them that. So for them to turn it around and say, do we have the audio, by the way? Can we play? Let's play some of the audio because it's not that long.
Let's call them what they are. Know. In fact, they're Fiorella. They're racist. Let's just say it. Go ahead, play it.
First time potential African American governors of those states. How difficult is it to be in that position when you have a midterm campaign led from the administration that is so heavily race oriented and, you know?
Why don't we use the right word? Not use the phrase race oriented. Why don't we say racist? How's that?
Right. How difficult is it then? Is that what ended up with these margins?
I think so. I think that I was involved, in the Gillum campaign. I think it was a brilliant campaign. I think he's a fantastic politician in the best sense of the word. He generated an enormous amount of energy. He got young people involved in the process. He stuck to his guns in terms of a progressive agenda. I think he ran a great campaign, and he had to take on they will respect democracy and count all of the votes. We'll see what happens. But she ran.
You know, fam, that was some amazing stuff right there. I want to just point out that you know, when it comes to this whole thing about, you know, I think we're gonna get lost in the whole Andrew Gillum, why he lost. I think a lot of us on the left feel that because he pivoted to the right after after the primary is the reason he lost. And I think it's proof and evident because he talks about Bernie Sanders, the felon law that is now, the old Jim Crow laws that are now about to be overturned. That's a progressive mindset to overturn those laws. Yet Andrew Gillum didn't win because he pivoted too far to the right. And I don't want to get off topic because I know that's not the topic here. We're kind of talking about race, but that's something that also shouldn't be lost because they did overturn those laws.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's amazing.
And I disagree with Bernie. I don't think he excited as many people. Bernie's the one that got people to be excited about Gillum. And the moment Gillum, you know, kind of, like you said, shifted a little bit back away from Medicare for All and started hanging out with Hillary and Debbie Wasserman-Schultz. Yes, I agree. I think he lost a lot of progressive votes there. However, I also think there is a lot of voter suppression and a lot of racial tension and racism in Florida and, you know, in Georgia. Just as he said, however, like, as you can see, if you take that out of context, and yes, of course, he sounds like a blatant racist, but we know that that's not the case. And so I feel like people, especially progressives, need to stop with the whole, like, oh, well, maybe, you know, as a white guy, maybe he shouldn't have said that. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's the optics that we're living in, but at the same time, like, you cannot just take that alone because it doesn't exist alone. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. That statement exists with everything else he said. And it's really unnerving just to see how, like, when I brought this up to some people who happen to be white people, they're like, oh, well, no, he shouldn't have said. Like,
you can see how that's problematic.
Like, it's like, no, dude. Like, no. I disagree 100%. I think, yes, unfortunately, he needs to watch what he says because of that. But I think I'm just done with the whole identity politics. He is the person that is more likely to win against Trump more than any other candidate. And I don't really care about his gender or his race. And I think that's how it should be overall with candidates. And the neoliberal left is amazing at pushing candidates of color who literally turn their backs on the very same people that they're put in there to protect.
Because those are the things that aren't really as important. I mean, yes, they are important in the sense that, hey, we're breaking glass ceilings, that we're getting women of color in, and we're making those marks, but really it doesn't matter as much as content of character. You know what I'm saying? Ideology, heart. And, you know, I want to talk about somebody who's got heart. I want to say a special thanks out, a special shout out to Maria Estrada, who is on the line, Reggie Wong, Dre Rome, Tim Johnson, Carly Sewell, we love you.
Thanks, guys,
Keith
for watching.
Porter, we love you all. And, of course, on the MCSC network, we want to send a shout out to you guys. Redneckonomics and Edward Klein is on as well. Moving along, fam, what's your second point today?
Fam, my second point is that the Democrats are at it again.
Yes.
So the establishment Democrats, like Nancy Pelosi, continue selling out. Nancy Pelosi has said that she's willing to work with Trump. And a lot of people see this as a positive, like, oh, okay, well, we need to work with Trump. The problem with that is she didn't just say that for any reason. She's saying that because Trump, in turn, endorsed her as speaker. Okay? Nancy Pelosi needs to go. She's horrible. She's like a cancer to the Democratic Party. She is absolutely terrible. She's absolutely what we don't need. And when she's starting, her and Trump are having like this winky love affair, we need to be worried because that's something that literally tells you they're two sides of the same coin. Nancy Pelosi does not represent where the progressive wing of the Democratic Party is going. She doesn't represent where the Ocasio-Cortez and the Omar Iman is party is going. And I think people, in an effort to kind of say, oh, we need to work with these people, we need to there are people that are in the Republican Party we can work with, and there are people that we cannot work with. Yeah. And because when Democrats say we need to work with them, it literally means we're going to bend over and do what they say because we still get paid, and we're just going to stall and give you platitudes, but we're really not going to do anything for you.
Well, fam, I don't know why she's calling for unity. They're unified. They're unified when it comes to war, when it comes to the military budget. Democrats and Republicans are already unified. When it comes to screwing out poor people and, giving Wall Street their way, they're unified over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it comes to healthcare and not giving people the health, they're already unified. So I don't know what she's kind of talking about. And don't get me wrong, this is one who's always saying we got to talk to the other side and whatnot. I'm there, but this is a crock of shit. If you want to unify with anybody first, Nancy Pelosi, unify with your base. You know what I'm saying? Unify with your progressive base, because there's an argument about who the base is. No, we're the new base, okay? It's the progressives. So it's time, if you really want to get things done. And, I would really love to see the Democrats actually push something called policy. That was not really included in Nancy Pelosi's victory speech. It was nothing but a platitude salad once again. You know what I'm saying?
And that doesn't fill you up.
It doesn't. It just makes you more hungry.
Yeah.
But I mean, once again, we have to kind of just it's a crock of shit. She should not be the Speaker of the House. We should push for Barbara Lee. Okay? Barbara Lee's the perfect candidate for that position. She's been in the House for a long time. She's somewhat progressive she's really, truly, she's progressive. I mean, she has some questionable things, but she's the only one to stand against the AUMF. And I don't think the Democrats in the House will ever let that happen, because they are so pro-war. But these Democrats, bunch of sellouts.
And there's a petition going around. I mean, I don't know how effective that's going to be, but there's a petition going around for Barbara Lee to become the Speaker.
Yeah. There's a petition going around. There's actually a caucus or a movement against Nancy Pelosi not getting the Speaker role.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, you know what I'm saying? That needs to happen, That needs to happen.
And let me put out another example of that kind of female woman of color that actually hurts progressives and the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris. So let's talk about Kamala Harris. I thought about giving Kamala Harris a chance because of her work with the criminal justice reform. However, she's just been screwing it up for herself, and she just did something that's disgusting.
Yeah, take a look at this. So you can see right over here that it says, plain and simple, that Kamala Harris is effectively draining money from Stacey Abrams. And let me show you why. Because if you go to her Twitter feed, I believe it is, and you click on it, it's going to say Stacey Abrams can win and enforce a runout. Despite her Republican opponent's rampant voter suppression, donate to her campaign. You click on it, and says stand with Stacey Abrams. But if you're looking quickly, it says right over here, you got to read the note in this fine print.
Tiny fine print.
It says your contribution will be split between Stacey Abrams and Kamala Harris.
Out of here! I'd rather cut my balls off with a samurai sword than participate in that. Doesn't make any sense.
It's sorry, we had to throw a little sound bite in there, but still, I mean, really, seriously, are you kidding me? It says in the small print, you're gonna take half her money. These Democrats are at it again, fam.
I just can't even believe. I don't know why they think we're all dumb. Like, they think what?
We're little tech gurus, right? I mean, well, you guys are. I mean, I'm Generation X, but these guys are gonna find this shit. You can't hide anything. That's the thing. Can you imagine if Obama had to run during the information age when we got the WikiLeaks stuff ahead of time? If we had it, and that's why we need a news network like WikiLeaks, because we have to see everything. We need transparency, and they don't want to give it to us. They even want to hide it. I mean, that is some. Oh shit!
I had someone say this is a nothing burger. Everybody does it.
It's a nothing burger.
No, if she wanted to actually, if she cared about Stacey Abrams and what she's doing, she would have just shared the link. It's like sharing, making your own GoFundMe. Yeah. And like halving it with the other person that you're raising the money for. That's literally what she's doing, instead of just sharing the GoFundMe link.
And what does she need the money for right now? What is she doing with that money? Is she working on a is she just stashing away for her presidential bid? What's up next, fam?
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Jerry Brown. So let's talk about Jerry Brown, and this kind of we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But Jerry Brown last month a couple months ago in September, he basically made it so that these utility companies, all of the cost would go to the consumers in case of the fire. So for instance, like all of the losses and the cost that they endured would, instead of being paid by them, it would go to the consumers through through means of raising the prices. So, like, let's say there's a fire. Okay, your electric bill goes up. That's how they're accounting for the extra costs. Jerry Brown did that. And now California is experiencing the deadliest fire in its history, up north in Paradise.
Ridiculous.
And of course we had the ones here in Southern California as well. But that just, remember when we went to Sacramento to protest Jerry Brown and et cetera, et
Brown's
cetera.
last chance?
Yeah, and now he's leaving, and he's leaving a mess, and he's putting the cost back into consumers. And
Leave a little gift under the tree there for you, fam. On the way out, here's a nice little fat bill.
And he didn't declare a state of emergency either. Of course, Trump did, but I mean, he didn't.
And where's all the state capital we have? Where's all that money? You know, shouldn't they kick in and help out instead?
Yeah.
No, they're going to pass the cost on to the customer, and our electric bill is too damn high. You know, the rent is too damn high, so is the electric bill. You're looking at the fam over here, we're like, oh, electric bill is out of fucking hand. I don't even know what I'm doing over here. It's like I'm freaking draining out the sun for some reason. Well, that's Jerry Brown and stuff. So.
Another thing that's happening is that the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi in particular, again, pivoted away from Medicare for all. Just when we saw that the majority of the American people are in favor of Medicare for all, she basically said, well, we need to focus the classic on the ACA and blah, 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 blah,
they
blah.
They do this shit
blah, blah,
all
blah,
the time.
Blah, blah, blah,
they
blah.
win a primary,
It's
and then
not
as soon
off
as
the
they win the
table.
primary, they pivot
It's
right
not
to the
off
center.
the table, though. Don't worry. It's not off the table.
Beto did this,
but
too.
right now, what we're going to focus on
is protecting the ACA.
Apart from that, which is kind of not surprising, is even with the new Congress of Ocasio and Rashida and Amar, we're seeing that they're still pivoting away from abolish ICE. And I think that's not surprising because it's something that a lot of people are uncomfortable with because they see it as a security measure. I mean, I feel like that's where we're going to go to next, but I think it's still something that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, including the American people.
I don't think it's about the security for some, though. I mean, for a lot of people, it is about security, probably the older generation. But I think a lot of us, too, are, first of all, it's like, of course, I want ICE to be abolished. There are a bunch of Gestapos running around doing unnecessary shit, rounding up people, when they said they were only going to go after criminals. However, you know what I'm saying? It's never going to be abolished under this administration. I know it's just more about the symbolicness of it. But like I said, fam, I've always wanted us to learn more about why there is a migration process. I'm always about abolish the CIA, and I don't want to drift into that because the thing that really does piss me off is the Medicare for All thing, because the number one issue for this cycle, this midterm, was health care, okay? 60% of Republicans want universal health care. 80% of Democrats want universal health care, some form of single payer, yet we can't get there. And Pelosi and all the Democrats, as soon as they win their primary, they pivot away from us, and they've done this time and time election again and again.
Remember
and again.
Harley Rauda and Dana Rohrabacher in the beginning? Because we've been following that race forever. We interviewed these candidates.
Harley Rohrabacher! Sorry, I had to do that.
Dana Rohrabacher.
Dana Rohrabacher!
you combine
they
them.
won 50% of the votes. I wanted to give Harley the first name win and Rohrabacher the last name. Harley Rohrabacher over there and stuff.
Well, Harley, as many of you know, but if you don't know, was a Republican. He just switched over to run against Dana Rohrabacher, by the way. So a lot of progressives voted for him. Obviously, Dana Rohrabacher is awful, so I don't blame you. But then again, he was running on, oh, yeah, I support Medicare for all. And then as soon as he got in there, it's not on his website. It's, I support a path to... No.
Andrew Gillum did the same thing.
We already know. We already know what that, what that
ACA is code for whatnot. And let me tell you, we really need Bernie to get here and win and stuff. Can we show you a picture? Just I want to remind people over here, when Hillary Rodham Clinton, she's thinking about running again, this is her...
God.
Those are her rallies right there. You see that? A lot of seats, fam. Just to remind you.
At least they're nice, expensive, cushiony
yeah, I'm sure.
seats.
They're probably about $200 each. And Bernie Sanders rally, boom, shakalaka. He's still the most popular politician in the United States. You better get ready for the burn. It's coming.
Let the CNN poll show where they sampled like
Biden,
200 people and saying Biden's ahead of
There
Bernie.
was nobody under the age of 45 who took that poll when they put that
Yeah.
poll out there, by the way.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So. Fam, so as all of you know, California is literally burning. And speaking about fires and climate change, here are some facts just so you guys know that how much damage has been done. And like, I know there's so much going on, but the fact that we're not in a state of emergency is ridiculous. I mean, a lot of our friends have been, you know, having to stay with other people.
We had people stay with us.
We had people stay with us. We had one of our really great friends stay with us. We had just, you know, I was helping out with the Shower of Hope with Mel. It's just, there's been so much, and it's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of fear, and people were really scared, and it's hard to see. But just so you know, this is the most damage, the deadliest fire, and
Look at this
50
picture.
deaths. There have been 50
Man.
deaths as a result of
Our friend's trailer was in that.
yeah, of the fires in general statewide. 48 in the north in Campfire, and then 2 in SoCal. Actually, now 3. They found a body that they haven't identified, so it's actually
Look
it
at
goes
this.
higher. And these are the pictures we have.
Calabasas.
That's Malibu. That's Calabasas, Malibu, and the firefighters have been battling all these fires. Here is a breakdown of the numbers as of this morning. We have let me see what I
We're going to
have
continue
it
to
here.
go through these pictures. here.
35% it's 35% contained in the Campfire. It's Butte County, 135,000 acres burned, and 48 fatalities, as I said, and
Look
about
at that.
8,817 structures destroyed. 7,600 of them are homes. The Woolsey fire, which is here in SoCal, in LA County and Ventura County, 97,620 acres, 47% contained as of this morning. It's probably more contained now. 2 fatalities confirmed, with another one that broke today. And then 435 structures, 7,000 in 57,000 structures in danger. There was a hill fire as well in Ventura County, 4,500 acres burnt and 94% contained. So that just tells you how much. And in total, it's like a ridiculous amount of acres.
Wasn't there something going on with the new Congress today? Because this is clearly global warming at its highest, I guess you could say. I mean, new reports come out every day about global warming just going apeshit crazy.
Yeah.
And this is a clear evidence of it. California is just basically on fire.
And real quick, so the good thing is that there is a lawsuit, and the utility shares have plummeted after this lawsuit. So the utility shares have been at the lowest point in more than a decade. Some Californians who lost their homes said that PG&E was at fault for the Campfire, so they're the ones that are being sued, because right after they reported like an outage is when the fire started, by the way.
Yeah.
So in a lawsuit filed this week, the homeowner said that the transmission had failed, sparking the fire. So owners accused them. A new lawsuit blames the fire on them for failing to inspect and maintain the power lines.
It's the fact that things like a brush fire over there. Just one little spark and the whole state's going up in flames.
Yeah.
But don't worry that we did send a hero, well, we hope, somebody strong to Congress.
We did.
And I think there was some talk of a Green New Deal, and it was a demand by a bunch of young people
Environmentalists.
in Nancy Pelosi's office. And who joined him, fam?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the sellout that many progressives decided to call her. And I just we're going to talk about that later, but let's talk about what she did. So she joined a sit-in that this environmental group decided to protest in Nancy Pelosi's office. And it's perfect because that just shows that she's literally not kissing anyone's ass. Mm-hmm. Okay, she's going in there demanding that that they take some action in climate change, because the Democrats are all
action.
platitudes and look at what's happening, and we need to take action, and we need to implement this Green New Deal. What is a Green New Deal? It's divesting from fossil fuels. It's
Investing in solar and wave and sun. The moon ain't going nowhere. The sun ain't going.
Completely investing in new green technologies. Yeah. Cutting down our emissions. It's everything that we need to do.
Yeah.
Just to even attempt to salvage what the damage that's already happened. And she stood up in there in front of all these people. She got on tables. She was AOC, and I think she's not even like governing. She's not even in Congress, like actually yet. This is like orientation. This is like when you go to college and you get on your orientation, and right off the bat, she's over there. And a lot of people still, are still telling me like she's a sellout, she's this, she's that. But here's the thing, like sellouts, she didn't have to do that. And I think I look at her actions more than her words. Anyone can misspeak, anyone can say things, but at the end of the day, she's the one that's out there sitting with environmentalists. She's not, hanging out with Nancy Pelosi. Right, exactly. Electoral activism.
That's right.
And that's more of what we need. And none of the other women that were elected actually even had the guts to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of them kind of were hanging out in the outskirts, but she's the only one that actually went and was like, let's do this.
I've heard a lot of this talk about, there was a progressive movement, that there was like now 40 Our Revolution candidates in there, multiple DSA candidates that were elected, a few Justice Democrats and whatnot, and that we have to really see this as a good ripple effect on what's really happening. Yeah. But, let me just point out right away that Our Revolution doesn't always endorse the right person.
Right.
Neither does Bernie Sanders. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to get every single one right. What really is going to be a telling sign to me is what happens when they get there. And what AOC did, I'm glad she had that one little messed up step, because she probably saw, oh shit. And she went in that office of Nancy Pelosi understanding that I'm not going to kiss the ring. I'm going to respect the people who gave me the power to be here, and I'm going to represent them. Here's your walking papers, Governor. It's all about a Green New Deal, and not just asking, demanding for it. I thought it was amazing. Yeah. I thought it was a great start for AOC. And out of all those Justice Democrats and Our Revolution people, she was by herself. I'd like to see more people join her, fam, to see this progressive movement really get going.
100%. And I think some of us need to get out of the way. I'm all for holding people accountable for if like people like Andrew Gillum, like we were like, dude, like what is he doing? Blah blah blah. I'm all for that. But I think the problem with the left is like sometimes there's no winning.
No.
There's like, I'm gonna criticize them if they're not the perfect candidate. And David Hildebrand posted something like, I trust AOC more than the people that are out there.
Damn, she left a bad Yelp back in 1982.
Yeah,
something stupid like that.
They used Chevron gas back in 1972, so they're a sellout. Like, I just think like sometimes the left goes too far in that way as well, and it sucks. Yeah. So it's funny because Fox News, I feel like, actually helps progressives because she shared this tweet. She said, "Oh no, they discovered our vast conspiracy to take care of children and save the planet because they said radical new democratic ideas. Yeah. Free college for all, free healthcare for all, abolish ICE, Green New Deal." Terrible things.
Free advertising for us. No, we've been saying this from the get-go, is that a lot of people try to tie Andrew Gillum to that, oh, he's one of those crazy socialists of the parties. And the Democrats, it's like, why? I'm like, guys, they're trying to push us that way. That's a populist message.
Yeah.
Let them. Don't go to the center. That's why you're losing these elections. If they're calling you crazy nuts and pushing you that way, say, albeit, you want to fucking give tax breaks to the rich and you think we're crazy? So be it. You want to protect working people across this country and give them a $15 an hour minimum wage across this country? You think that's radical? So be it. You want to end our wars and you think that's radical? So be it. Let's take the title of the Democratic Socialist, the New Deal Democrats that we need to be to win this thing. And I wish a lot of these Democrats would do that. Andrew Gillum did not, and look at the results.
Exactly. They need not be afraid to go that route, because when they go that route and they also have other things that are working for them, like a great team like AOC, you can win. And there needs to be more faith in that, and less trying to be pragmatic and practical and manipulate like the optics of everything else, because we're done with that. Obviously, it hasn't worked. It stopped working. It's not going to work again. So, fam, moving on. We have breaking news as well. So the Republicans launched a surprise bid to prevent a debate on U.S. support for the Saudi war, in which Yemenis are literally dying by hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions, ultimately. And the Republicans are doing this, and basically what that means is we're not going to have a say in whether we support Yemen or not, and or Saudi Arabia or not. And as many of you know, what they're doing in Yemen with our help is genocide.
Well, it's all about capital. It's all about capitalism. It's all about corporate dollars. We're not going to affect our business in Saudi Arabia. We sell too many weapons to them, fam, and that's why they got to raise the budget on that defense budget, and everybody gives all that money over to all your tax dollars are going to Saudi Arabia. Now, right now, this is the Republicans who are kind of putting a halt to it, whatnot, and saying that we have no choice or say in how our tax dollars are spent. Not just about the fact that it's inhumane, that there's the Yemenis crisis is just out of hand. It's also financially draining, and once again, caught with the hand in the cookie jar. There's some other breaking news, fam. Tell us about that.
So our friend Mark Lane is in Tijuana. Mark Lane worked with James Elias' campaign. So he told me that, and told us on Facebook, that 1,000 more migrants have arrived in TJ overnight. More buses are arriving later. U.S. Marines have Humvees with 50 caliber guns pointed straight at Mexico, and he said shit just got real. And
real,
we can see the military arming right there. With it, kind of looks like a World War.
Looks like a zombie apocalypse that they're trying to keep out. They're just putting barbed wire fence up everywhere, whatnot. And the sad thing about it is, fam, is that you mentioned earlier, is that why didn't they send troops to go help fight fires? Oh, we had prisoners and inmates fighting for $2 an hour and $1 an hour, or $2 a day doing it, whatnot. Have we sent
a day? Yeah.
Why can't we ever use our resources in a smart way? Why couldn't we send these people to help fight forest fires? We got a governor who won't even declare a state of emergency, and a president who thinks immigrants that are or refugees that are coming from the most horrendous conditions in Honduras and Guatemala, he thinks that they're the threat. This is just sick, fam.
And you know what's also sick is the fact that it, like you said, like we're over there spending our resources to treat these people like they're such a threat, and meanwhile, the majority of people in California have suffered in one way or another from the fire, whether they're just anxious, whether they've lost their homes, whether they've been scared, whether they've had to spend money on hotels or get off work, or just the traffic. And also, a lot of people don't talk about this. It's the fumes you breathe in. Ash was falling on LA during the Me Too march last week when we were there for Me Too International, and ash was falling on everyone. And what you read about later is the effects of that. All of the ash and the pollution that arises from the fires has an effect on us, and it's actually a lot more than carbon emissions from cars in one entire year. Just in the amount of time that these fires have been burning for a little bit over a week, the emissions are causing a lot more damage to all of us, including our lungs and our health, and obviously our climate. And people don't really realize that, and the statistics don't come out till after the fact. Meanwhile, we can't get people health care. We can't give people, to feel okay after the fires. There's no declaration of a state of emergency. Donald Trump blamed it on like nothing that had nothing to do, like the firefighters, he said something really stupid. I've stopped listening to what he said, but he literally blamed it on just mismanagement of funds. And it's really telling what we're focused on. We're focused on militarization. We're focused on pretending that the outsides are the problems, when the people shooting up our own people are Americans. Yeah.
Well, we caused this problem anyways too as well. I don't want to dive into the CIA coups in Honduras, just even in 2009. what happened in 2011. You go back to 82, 84, 86, and the North Triangle, all those countries. But we've been causing these problems, backing brutal dictators, supplying coups, and here we go. So, fam. Thanksgiving's coming up, right? And you're going to have that time around the Thanksgiving table, and you're going to hear a lot of bullshit out there, fam, right? So we have a little segment we like to call Turkey Talk. Oh, fam, the joy of Thanksgiving. You know, that aunt and uncle that always come over that just seem to be crazy in all their claims. And there's a couple things we want to help you identify and a couple areas we want to talk about it, okay? Number one, CNN claims that Trump is at war with the media after Jim Acosta broke down the other day with the microphone. Let me just say something, fam. That's turkey talk. Give me a little gobble over there. Where's my gobble? My gobble. That's turkey talk. Right? Okay? There you go. Thank you. Obama, he jailed whistleblowers for not giving up their sources, okay? Yeah. What he did with Chelsea Manning was another thing that's disgusting. Jim Acosta's not under attack. You know, he was the debate leader over there, and he made statements. He didn't even ask questions. So
you don't
it was
make
terrible.
Yes or no statements like that, especially with someone like Donald Trump, where he can just be like, no, yes. And they completely ignore Julian Assange. I mean, the way he was and continues to be treated is awful. So obviously we're all for journalists being treated with respect and the freedom of the press. However, again, it's only when the establishment's need is in trouble that they point this out, right? They didn't say a goddamn thing about Julian Assange or any other whistleblower, and it didn't matter until now.
Talk, fam.
So
it's turkey talk.
It's turkey talk, fam.
Where's my gobble? Thank you very much, turkey talk. Go ahead, fam. Get the next one.
So the liberal media is sprouting left and right that since Trump has come into office, we now have a fascist government.
It's turkey talk, fam.
Is it?
It's turkey talk. We've been a fascist government for many years, okay? Or at least we supported fascist governments for quite some time now, whether it be Ronald Reagan in Central America, of course Barack Obama with Hillary Clinton when it came to Honduras, which is why this caravan is coming this way. And guess what, fam? We even supported neo-Nazis and the Ukraine. And the chickens came home to roost, just like Bobby Boucher did, because those same Nazis trained neo-Nazis in Charlottesville.
Oh, and while I agree with that too, I just think that people are confusing the fact that fascism is more it's more open now. Like the people that Trump is playing to and these people are playing to are more open about it. However, inside our government and the way things have been run, it's been that way. It's been an authoritarian, fascistic form.
I think people have to start understanding why, like in Brazil, openly a fascist won, and same here in the United States, openly Donald Trump won the election. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's some things we have to think about. We have to stop funding the opposition to
even though they're threatening people outright. I mean, Bolsonaro just threatened the indigenous population of the Amazon. Those people that live off the Amazon, you know, they're obviously going to be in opposition to his plan to monetize the Amazonian River, which is so important to our ecosystem. Yeah. You know, this is not a coincidence. All of this happening now. Yeah.
All of a sudden, Trump's a fascist government. Now we have a fascist
Things
government.
don't happen overnight.
We've had this for a while. Turkey talk, fam. Fam, you know what I'm talking about? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, fam. Okay? Republicans keep saying that we can't go green with our energy, that it would kill too many jobs, that there isn't enough money in those technologies.
Talk, fam.
What is it?
That's turkey talk, fam.
Get that gobble going. You know, I never quite understood the right when it comes to this global warming thing, fam. They're the party of individual responsibility, but they don't want to be responsible for all the oil they burn in the air. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say at the dinner table, when the uncle who says that he just won't believe in global warming, no matter how much of the science community believes it, no matter how much evidence we see, he's never going to believe it. So do it, Kevin Kinsinger. That's what my boy did. He convinced your uncle that there's a ton of money and a ton of jobs if we go green. Okay?
There is, actually.
Okay. This is where we will win this battle. You got to hope that your uncle's got a few libertarian views, and therefore we win this battle right there. You know what I'm saying, fam? It's turkey talk.
Fam.
What, fam?
I'm sick and tired of this label.
Which label?
that you are anti-Semitic if you speak against the Israeli Netanyahu's government.
That's turkey talk, fam.
And I have Israeli friends that hate Trump and hate Netanyahu and what he stands for. And I think it's absolutely 100% possible to hate your government or not agree with what they're doing and still be prideful of your heritage. I don't know. I don't understand. That's how we are. We constantly criticize the government. That doesn't mean that, we don't have some sort of appreciation for the good in this country. I think a lot of people do. And, and I just think it doesn't have to be one or the other. And nobody is free of criticism. And I think we need to stop being so afraid and jumping onto people for criticizing Netanyahu and calling them anti-Semitic.
Is it a form of identity politics, fam?
It's 100% a form of identity politics,
using it to suppress
and it's manipulation.
Discourse.
It's manipulating everything to fit a narrative.
Do we have
I'm
that
sick and
video
tired
of what Israel did the other day with the little small video when they blew up the? Check this out, fam. This is what they did the other day. Not only, fam, was that 1 out of 150 bombs. That was a TV station, fam. They blew up a TV station in the Gaza Strip and say, and you can speak out against these brutal attacks. That doesn't make you anti-Semitic, okay? It makes you anti-Zionist, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It makes you humanitarian. It makes you have empathy, a conscience. Like, that's not a radical notion.
And how can Israel sit here and stand there and say that, other people are fascists? Meanwhile, they're selling weapons to neo-Nazis in the Ukraine, fam. The Ukraine, fam. Did you get that up there? That article? Show that article. Neo-Nazis arming. Take a look.
So human rights activists are petitioned the court to seize Israeli arms exports to Ukraine since some of these weapons reach neo-Nazi elements in Ukraine's security forces, which is the most ironic thing. We've been talking about this for a while, ever since it happened. But the majority of people don't really pay attention to this. And this isn't an effort to, attack Israel or Israelis. It's an effort to just bring out the information that's there. This isn't made up. The information is there for all of you to see.
Yeah. Hey, fam.
What, fam?
I'm sick and tired of my aunt stating that socialism is next to communism, and that Bernie Sanders can't be president because he's going to bring us Stalinism. That's turkey talk, fam. Give me that gobble. I want that gobble. That is some serious turkey talk, fam. Can you tell the people why?
We need to educate the fam.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like to say democratic socialism is the way we are talking about it in America is a capitalistic system to a degree, because it's not going to get rid of businesses. It's not going to get rid of entirely of the economic system, which is why a lot of straight up socialists that don't want capitalists are against it, because it's not entirely free of capitalism. Yeah. It's capitalism with a conscience. It's the free market exists. It's just a lot more controlled. You have co-ops. You have B corporations that are actually good for the environment. You have more regulations. I'm actually the kind of person that doesn't like I wish capitalism would exist at all, but I think Americans are would be better off with a sort of transition into it first, because I think a lot of people freak out. Like, this is exactly, they freak out with socialism alone. They freak out with democratic socialism alone, as you can see by the propaganda with Fox News and everything. And I'm actually definitely more to the left of what I feel like America is going to be accepting of. And as long as people have a little bit of what, most of all of what they need and some of what they want, I guess that's the idea that I see. Like, I think people should be able to have their basic needs met and then have, you know, some of what they want. That's just not just what they need. And I don't really believe in billionaires, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had a lot of turkey talk. We hope that helps you out around the Christmas table or the Thanksgiving table. You got that turkey? But anyways, fam, that was a long show. We've been here for a while. Who are we going to have on next Wednesday? Why don't you tell everybody?
Next Wednesday, we are going to have awesome comedian, former vet, and amazing podcaster Graham Elwood in the house.
Yep.
Graham Elwood did a wonderful documentary called Earbuds. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think it's on Prime.
I think it might be on, I don't know what it is,
iTunes,
Apple, whatever.
I know Jeff Bezos sucks, and he should just go away.
Yeah.
I liked Ron's quote today. It was like, Jeff Bezos needs to stop honoring Stan Lee by becoming one of his villains.
The villain.
I thought that was on point.
Yeah. Well, we know those Democrats, they want to act like their shit don't stank. But over here in the Convo Couch, we admit when our shit stanks. And, you know. Hey, we want to thank you very much for tuning on in this late night.
Oh my
Next
God.
Wednesday, join us. We'll have Graham Elwood back on. We want to thank everybody. If you get time, go to our YouTube and please.
Our YouTubes.
Go to the YouTubes. Like, share.
Go to the
we
Facebook.
also have a Facebook page, a
the
Twitter. On the Convo Couch, and we'll see you sometime soon.
And sending love to all my people out there who made it through the fires, who lost their homes, and who helped out. Thanks, guys. Much love.
You. Johnny Tsunami.
Johnny
Go
in the
UCF
house.
Knights, going for undefeated season. Show your face over there, Johnny
Since
Tsunami.
the Orlando Magic.
Go Knights!
Now.
Give him a peace sign. We love it.
Thanks
Combo
to
out.
our engineer. Combo out.
Hey, if you liked our video and want to support independent media, please like, share, and subscribe below.
Yeah, we have a Facebook, a Twitter, a YouTube, and coming soon, fam, we're going to be on Roku.
Take it easy, fam. And if you have any change to spare, please subscribe to our Patreon below to keep us going.
Yes, anything would help with that.
Thanks again for watching. Convo out.